Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. We are delighted today for having this occasion whereby we have Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies signing an MOU, a partnership with CHANCEN International. For a start, my name is John Kibemia Gitao, Executive Director at the Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies. Now, one of the biggest challenges we have had for over the years about in the training institutions is sometimes some of the students, they struggle on fees payment. We have seen this over the years, and we all know how our economy is doing. There are parents who they desire to take their children to school, but financial challenges sometimes hinder the progression of these students. And this is not something new to us. We all know that happens. But institutions must get funding to run. And sometimes students have to be sent away simply because they are not able to fund that. But now we are lucky that we came across an institution and an organization that actually partners with colleges in order to facilitate learning for students who are having financial challenges. And for this, CHANCEN International, and CHANCEN International, first of all, even the spelling, let me start with the spelling of CHANCEN International, is the word chance plus N. Chance is basically giving students a chance, an opportunity to progress in life. We know there are people in this world who came from disadvantaged backgrounds, but because somebody volunteered to give them an opportunity, they were able to go on with their education. But now this, what we are signing today, is what we are calling is an ISP, ISA, an income share agreement. This income share agreement is that a student, whatever the financial background you are coming from, you have an opportunity to learn. Whether your parents are able, whether you have parents or not, but now it is not free money. This world, we know, we just have to agree there's nothing like free money. Somebody has to pay for it. This is money that has been collected from various organizations, but this money needs to be refunded back. But now what we are saying here, you learn now, a student learns now and pays the day they are ready to pay. They are ready to pay. And this, you sign a contract of 10 years, given a whole period of 10 years to pay this money. So what happens is that once you sign an agreement today, you are given a period, maybe you are in school for 3 years. Within those 3 years, the money that you are being paid, you are not, the money will be paid to the school, but you will not pay a cent. You will not pay that money until the day you get a job. For example, a student enrolls today, studies for 3 years. After 3 years, probably takes 1 year before they get a job. And then within those 4 years, the student is not paying. Thereafter is when now they start paying. And this works together. We have to work together with the parents who will just help us to walk the journey together, not parents or guardians, who will help us to walk the journey together with the student. And we are thankful that this has happened, and they have chosen Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies, and CHANCEN has they are in about 4 or 5 African countries, and they have a target of training 25,000 students. And we are lucky, we are one of the few that have been selected, and the only one in this region of ours. Thank you very much. CHANCEN International will be facilitating the entire facilitation of the student to ensure that these students have no reason to drop out of school. For example, this is a student who has come from Rodwa, cannot go home. So this student will need to have to go to a hostel. That will be provided. This student will have to pay for examination fees. That is provided. So both and even upkeep. So is us as an institution, we give CHANCEN International what a specific program requires, because there are those students who might not, because remember, this money is not free money. Once they get employed, they are going to pay for it. Now, for that to happen, they only be given what they need. If it's maybe upkeep, they'll be given. Some of them might even require to buy a laptop. That will also be provided. The target number for CHANCEN International is 6,000 students for next year. They need 6,000 students, and we have told them we don't have, as RVIBS, we might not have the capacity for 6,000. We have told them they can only give us 3,000. How do we identify the students who require the funding? Number one, the first thing is just to have a call, to send out a call for those who would want an open call. Anybody will actually apply. But now we are going to have a selection criteria, and this selection criteria will include some forms being signed by the parents, some form being signed by the administration, like the chief or sub chiefs, and even sometimes it might go up to the religious leaders, because we need first of all even to know the ability of the willingness of this student to go all the journey, because one of the things we want to avoid is anybody who comes just because they have heard there is financing, and yet they are not serious. We want those people who they are going to finish the course. So we have to interview, and we know people are not coming just because they have heard there is financing and they just come for the course. No, we want people who are determined to take all the journey from beginning of the course up to seeking for employment. So we have a criteria set.
So my name is Gladys Mtisi. I'm the country director for CHANCEN International, and we are delighted today to sign a partnership agreement with the Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies here in Nakuru. And our main purpose is to be able to support their students pursue their tertiary education in this institution as they progress towards either self-employment or permanent employment. One of the things that we as CHANCEN are proud of is we ensure that our funding is fair and ethical, and we do this through what we call a financing tool called an income share agreement. And just like the way the name states, it means once a student is able to complete their studies, are able to get into income generating activities. This could be self-employment, or it could be white collar jobs, then they'll be able to make a percentage of their salary towards their income share agreement payments. So it means also for us to be fair, if a student is not in employment, then they are not required to make a repayment. If a student is not earning what we call our minimum income threshold, then they are not required to make any payments. So only students make payments when they are in employment and have reached that income threshold. So there is no interest. It is a percentage, a share, which ranges between 10% to 20% of a net salary of a student. What we do as a CHANCEN, we do not just come in, sign a partnership with a school and leave it at that. We walk the journey with the student. So we have a student monitoring department that walks the journey, where apart from just providing the financing to cater for their tuition needs, to cater for their exams or any other financial need they need for them to be able to complete their studies, we work with them by providing them with financial literacy. We know these are very young people. Some of them have not been able to manage finances, or this is the first time they are getting financing, and we need to start instilling that discipline of having how do you behave when you have financing, and even when they get employment, how do they balance their basic needs as well as still be able to service their financing with us. So we take them through financial literacy trainings, we take them through career readiness, because we know the market is quite tough. They need to be ready when they have completed their studies. So that enables us, we create that rapport with the student from day one, and once they get into employment, this is self-reported. They'll let us know how much they're earning, and we'll be able to know if they fall within the category of students who are supposed to make repayments based on the repayment terms that we had set with them. CHANCEN, we operate currently in 4 countries. We are domiciled in Rwanda, where we started operations back in 2018. We are also in South Africa as well as Ghana. But CHANCEN itself, it's originated from Germany. We have 25 years experience in terms of income share agreements, so we know the model works. And we wanted to introduce this to the Kenyan market because we know there is a gap. We know our government is really trying through the Higher Education Loans Board, but we know not all students are able to be reached. There are those students that might not be able to qualify, and we even have students who were not fortunate enough to complete their high school education, but they ventured into other jobs. And they want now to upskill. For example, if it's a mechanic, this person has been working for the last 5 years, but they do not have certification. How do they prove to the client that actually they can do the job. They need the certificate. So there are institutions like Rift Valley where these students will be accepted as much as they've not completed their high school, and they're able to get upskilling and get certification, and we come in, and that is our role. We look at youth who are between 18 to 35. We look at youth who are also coming from low-income backgrounds, because we know most of them are disadvantaged. Even they struggled in high school and are not able either to partially fund their education, or they're completely not able to fund their education. And we come in and play that gap. So when we look at the market, we do not say we are competing with anyone. We're only coming to complement what the government is currently doing, so that we can get as many of our youth into tertiary employment, into tertiary education, and even as they transition into employment. RVIBS is one of the accredited institutions, and one unique component we found with RVIBS is their entrepreneurship program. Very few institutions do that. A lot of institutions are very academic focused, where you come in, you do your course, you pay, and that's the end of the relationship between you and the institution. But we found this is a unique selling point for RVIBS, where they work with the student. For those students that they know they are going to transition into self-employment, they provide them with entrepreneurship training. They have incubation centers where they're able to nurture them even as they are transitioning to become self-employed. And we know once as somebody is self-employed, it means they're creating opportunity for others in the market, because they'll be employing other people. So that was what was found very unique about RVIBS. Currently, we are working with private institutions, and it's because the way our model works, we want the institution to also have some skin in the game. So there are certain requirements that we need the institution to do, and this is just, like I mentioned, not just to provide academics, but to work with the students and ensure that we have a very good transition for students. Our main purpose is to ensure that we are able to improve the lifetime incomes of young people. And you can only improve the lifetime incomes of young people if you're able to monitor them beyond post-education, beyond the first job, beyond the second job. From the first time I got an employment, what happened to me 5 years later? I'm sure most of us, if we are coming from the public institution, once we completed and we got our certificate, that was the end of us and the institution. But we want to go beyond that. And we find that private institutions are very vested in the life of the student beyond just providing academics. It doesn't seem long. It's what we call ethical. We have what we call a contract period. So if, for example, our ISAs have a contract period of 13 years, and my course is for 3 years. So it means I have an opportunity to repay back within the 10 years. It doesn't mean every month I'm paying for the next 10 years. No, it means that each student, we assign them a repayment period. My repayment period could be 36 installments, which is 3 years. But remember, employment in Kenya does not work that way. You are not employed concurrently for the next 3 years, especially as your first employment. Most of us, we get into either internship for 6 months, then my internship ends. What happens? Remember, that person has not paid. You cannot ask them to pay when they're not in employment. So that's why we have the 10 years, that my 36 installment of 3 years can be spread in 10 years. So there are those periods I'll not be earning the minimum income that Chansen has set. I'm not required to make any payments. There are those periods where I'm employed and I'm earning above, I'll be making payments. For our young ladies, they might decide to go into the family way. We also give them a child break of 1 year. So the 10 years is very favorable because it doesn't put a lot of pressure on the young person that they must pay it within a specific period. So they have that allowance to make those repayments within, and we also are cognizant that we also have very high unemployment. So our students might be unemployed. During that period of unemployment, we do not expect them to make any payments. Because of the nature of the repayment, it's very student focused, it's very client focused. We rarely have cases of default. But yes, as any financial institution, we are cognizant that there are those students that will be earning and they might not be able to make repayments. At that point, then, as an institution, we will follow what we call our repayment protocol.
Kwa marĩtwa njĩtagwo John Kimemia Gĩtaũ kuma college yĩtagwo Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies gũkũ mũciĩ wa Naikuru, na college ĩno twĩkoretwo na bahati nene mũno nĩ ũndũ wa kũnyitana na organization ĩtagwo CHANCEN International. CHANCEN nĩ rĩtwa rĩa kuga kũhe ciana citũ chance ya gĩthomo, tondũ nĩ tũĩ nama kũrĩ andũ ciana nyingĩ cikoragwo cina bata na mathomo no mbeca aciari makwa matire no hoti amwe matire nginya na aciari ona amwe komena aciari andu aciari mari magaga hoti niguo kona mwana ringi ni okanenje githomo akinya handu aka drop out no riu ri twakona bahati nene muno ya kunyitana na organization yo yeretwo Chancen International na Chancen International ira provide funding no funding ici ri ti besha maraheo cia tuhu ni besha mundu hindira karikia guthoma aone wira akajia kuriha yani athome riu akariha baadaye ona wira na criteria ya gucagura ciana ici ni gwetha mwana tuku advertise na tuheane kuri andu meko advertise meko apply andu meguthii website itu nimekuona haria meko apply na tugwikira website ini na then aria meko heoka mweke kau tucagure kuringana na muno mwaka atuonie niki kiratuma apply muciari ena uhoti wa kumurihira tondu ugo muciari na bata wa kumurihira ri hatiri bata basi mwana uyo apply ati akariha baadaye reke muciari arihe no kahinda kamweke gaka ni tuhetwo kamweke gaka ga gucagura aria turona no meke atia no mekorwo mena bata meno wendo ucio na organization ino ina target ya ciana 25,000 cia guthomithia ciana bũrũri-inĩ wa Africa yothe na guku Kenya mwaka uyu roka mena target ya ciana 6,000 mwaka uyu roka na ithuĩ ta Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies matucagurite ni twina target ya matuhe 3,000 ciana 3,000 gap ire koretwo gitumi kire giatumite andu tunyitane na uri ni tondu ni tuonete nama kuri ciana ikoragwo na wendo igoka guthoma no oka guthoma ri akaremwo ni kurikia tondu ndari na mbeca cia kuigana riu koguo wendo itu munene muno ri ni ati ciana ici cietwo kamweke kau ri nigetha kagena kamweke ga gutira thukuru ndakanatuike hindi araingatwo thukuru ni tondu wa mbeca oka thome muthenya wa mbere ni athia thomete na muraririkana no ria gwekikire hindi ya Kibaki wakianjia program ici cia free education ciana ni ciatigire kuingatwo mathomo nikio riu nohoro turona wa ciana ici nini Gen Z andu acio ni andu athomu muno tondu mahirwo kamweke na riu turene niguo turauga atiriri ciana ciothe irauma secondary ri gutiri mwana wagiru ni gukorwo arauma secondary akaukorwo na skill na Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies twitayari kuheana skills iria ciguteithia ciana ici guthie mawira nigetha tukururie bururi witu ohoro wa mane ati thirikari uwereka kuga kuhimiri ko emphasize kajuga na githungu ko emphasize uhoro wa guthie thukuru cia TVET ni undu mwega muno tondu mabũrũri maingi matwaragwo na mbere ni undu andu aria mabundithitio wira wa moko to mekanika wa mwako uhoro wa kuruga no uhoro no wa njuiri maundu macio mo magutwara bũrũri na mbere na riu ri uguo thirikari ikite ni wega muno no guo auga ati roka hindi iria ukoretwo na changamoto pandi ya HELB ri institution ta ici ta Chancen International ri ciroka go seal gaps iria already monete ciekuo riu koguo na magĩuka uguo ri maroka guteithĩrĩria mwena wa thirikari no makorwo enyewe ti thirikari no gap iria mareka ni undu thirikari ingika no maga seal gap iyo.